once you have a real estate license, you can unlock other resources and trainings and educational opportunities that are out there. So if you're really interested in being up to date on the different trends in real estate, the market, different methods of growing your business, by becoming a licensed real estate agent, you can join a brokerage, and through that brokerage, get to know and be updated within the field. And also you can become a member of the local Realtor Association.
You found the Real Estate Law Podcast. Because real estate is more than just pretty pictures, and law goes well beyond the paperwork and courtroom arguments. If you're a real estate professional or looking to build real estate expertise, then welcome to the conversation and discover more at realestatelawpodcast.com.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the Real Estate Law Podcast. Thank you once again for downloading this episode and listening to us. We really do appreciate all the support. We're going to have a relatively short and to the point episode this time, we think. Once I get talking, the next thing you know, it's been like 45 minutes or so, but we don't think it's going to be that long for this topic. We should welcome our co-host, Rory Gill from nexthome Titletown Real Estate and Urban Village Legal here in Boston.
Hey, Jason. Good. Hey, how are you?
I'm excellent. Having a great day. Looking forward to learning a little bit more about your opinions on this question that we get all the time. You probably get it more than I do. I hear it at real estate meetups, hear it when friends talk to me about real estate, even though I also work in a different industry. It seems to come up. It came up today when I was chatting with somebody else. The topic is about licensure. Specifically, should I get my real estate license? Now, not me. We're not talking about me getting my real estate license because I don't have my real estate license. I don't want to get my real estate license. And the sole reason being, I don't need to get my real estate license because you, Rory Gill, are the broker, right?
Yep. So it's one reason you don't intend to do the work. So if we walk through my answer, you might come to the same conclusion. But yeah, should I get my real estate license? One of the questions I get asked probably the most, and in a variety of different places. So networking events with other investors, that question comes up a ton. They might mean it a little bit differently than other people. I also encounter just friends and family who are, casually thinking about real estate. I get asked it from other attorneys all the time. Should I get my real estate attorneys? Because here in Massachusetts, we have a unique and maybe misguided rule that allows for attorneys to get a broker license without taking any classes or tests, just to pay the fee, and they automatically are entitled to a broker license. And we get asked it from well-meaning people who are considering a career change. So this is one of the most frequently asked questions I get, but also one of the questions I get asked across all different contexts. So it's a pretty interesting one.
I think, I remember being at Target a couple of weeks ago. We were checking out, getting some diapers, and sure enough, the cashier asked us, do we want to get our real estate license? No, she didn't say that. In fact, we go to the self-checkout whenever we come.
No, but the cashier might have asked us if she should get her real estate license.
Yeah. And, we've done episodes before. I think a long time ago, we did an episode on, being a great part-time real estate agent. And what some of the attributes are for people that can do this on the side as their side hustle, along with a full-time job, maybe as a teacher, maybe, they're in school, maybe they work a position where, they meet lots of people, they might work in nonprofit or whatever, and they want to do this on the side. And if they take it really seriously, they'd be really good at it. But you've encountered people from all walks of life, people who have other jobs and get their license and are fully well-intended, and then nothing happens. So, we could talk a little bit more about that in this episode as well. But, let's start with the basic question of, should I get my real estate license? If you're listening to this episode, hopefully you click the play button or downloaded it because you saw the title, which is likely going to be something like, should I get my real estate license? What are some of the things that you've talked to with people either coming out of college or people do a career change, or investors when they say to you, hey, I'm thinking about getting my license?
So the first thing is to understand, where they're coming from. Because this is a question that gets asked by a host of different people in different contexts. People come at it with a lot of different understandings of what it means to be a real estate agent. They come from different backgrounds of way different levels of education, experience, and everything. And with that comes a lot of different preconceptions about what it means to be in real estate. And I start with the positive. There are a lot of different reasons to get a real estate agent. And when it comes down to it, it's a very rewarding career path. You get to be out in your community. You get to see the housing stock. You get to interact with a host of different people. You get to make investors make good decisions. You get to help home buyers find the home of their dreams, or just become home buyers and start their way up with the American dream. You get to work with sellers to solve real problems. It's a very, very rewarding career path. That's the number one positive as to why anybody should consider getting their real estate license.
We should also say that, you don't need a college degree to get your real estate license. Is that true?
No, you do not need a college degree to get into it. But a lot of people do have college degrees. A lot of people have advanced degrees. A lot of people have no degrees whatsoever. It's a very meritocratic field that's open to everyone.
Yeah. I mean, people that seem to have the hustle and are connectors, folks that have the charisma to meet lots of different people, or they understand that it is a career in sales and understand the kind of the sales process of what it's like to sell an asset to somebody else, and the process that goes into that, which is not as simple as take this widget and go sell it, but there's a lot of, working leads and developing relationships and building trust, and that kind of thing that goes into a career in real estate. But, some folks are really good at that, and they didn't go to college. Some folks that went to college or have advanced degrees are probably not really good at that because their skill set is something very different. So, getting a real estate license is an interesting career path. If you are young and listening to this and you're saying, college isn't for me, or you're in a community college and don't want to take the step to the 4-year school. You and I went to college. You both went to great schools. You went to grad school. I never did. We're grateful that we have the degrees that we do. At least I am. But, you kind of look at it today, and college is really expensive. And this is not to dissuade people from going to college, but if real estate is something that you think you might want to do, you don't need the degree to do it. You could jump right in after high school.
So, the career field is open to people with different levels of expertise and experience, and you can leverage that experience. College is a great source of experience and knowledge, and if you can leverage that into a successful career in real estate or elsewhere, then great. But it's open to other pathways to experience and careers. And you mentioned a profile of a real go-getter, somebody who is motivated to do it. And that's another great feature of the career field, is that it's open to a lot of different personality types. There are a lot of different ways to fit in and grow your business. There are a lot of different niches available in real estate. So it's open to, I think it's open to extroverts and introverts. It's open to the really detail-oriented and open to the big thinkers. There really is a way for you to find a home in real estate, regardless of your personality type.
Mm-hmm. You know why I think it's open to both introverts and extroverts? My first thought is that people that are outgoing and, can, walk up to anybody, shake their hand and start talking to them would do the best at it. But that's not necessarily the case if they're bad at the follow-up, or bad or dishonest or something else, that kind of would hurt that reputation of being an extrovert. I'm thinking about the kind of people who are your clients, and clients who purchase real estate. They are also of all different types. And, I've learned a lot in sales over the years about, who you're speaking with and trying to talk to them in a manner in which they'll respond. Sometimes you're talking to somebody that is very inquisitive, introspective, thoughtful, intelligent, and that personality type might completely clash with the bombastic, over-the-top, egocentric real estate personality that often does very well, but just does well with other types of people. So the fact that the customer base is very diverse probably lends the fact that the real estate agents that succeed are also very diverse.
And we train all of our agents on identifying and understanding different personality types. And it's not just so that they can diagnose it or have a party trick to categorize people. It's so that they understand how they can bend their own personality and communication to make a connection with somebody who may have a different personality type, and just to be aware of those differences. And then also within your own business to understand what business strategies might work well for you. And every personality type is going to have a drawback to it, and how can you be cognizant of it? If you're the person who loves to make that instant connection, but your follow-up is weak, well, what do you have to do to leverage your strengths, but not have them be subsumed by your weaknesses? So we do teach all of our agents how to navigate personality type differences, and presupposing that is that there's a space, certainly within our office, for people of every different personality type.
So we're talking about why one might want to get their real estate license, and we're talking first about the reasons for doing it. Another reason to do it, and you could elaborate about this a little bit more, is the MLS system. And you could explain what that is in a second, but I should mention that we actually both come from families with parents that were in real estate. My father was a real estate agent and then became a real estate appraiser for many, many years. My mother actually got her license as well, and she did that on the side as she was a teacher. Your mother also did it on the side, next to her career while she was in school and working for retail finance.
And she still has an active license to this day.
I didn't know that. She still has an active license?
Yeah, she just, when I went to see her a few weekends ago, she was actually getting her CLE done before her birthday, or continuing it done before her birthday. So it was, she still has it in Massachusetts.
We had two acronyms right there. We mentioned MLS and CLE. So first, CLE, just explain what that is. Really.
I meant to say CE. CLE is continuing legal education. CE is continuing education. They're requirements that most states impose on you to renew your license.
Right.
So you may have to attend some combination of about 12 hours worth of classes in order to be able to renew your license.
Right. And that could be a reason against it, which we'll get to in a little bit. But MLS. So MLS, I remember MLS. Like, I remember my father picking up a big book every single week, probably on a Friday or something, where he'd go somewhere, a 20-minute drive, and he'd come home with books, like physical books, right? That's what MLS used to be, right? He used to have cards too. There were index cards. I think one was for each property that would come with the MLS book. Things are very, very different today with Zillow and Redfin and syndication, of listings. So explain why MLS is a benefit to having your agent license when a lot of the information is already available, online.
Well, this is a practical benefit that a lot of investors have in mind toward when they think about getting their license, and that's access directly to the MLS. The multiple listing service is the platform on which most listing offices will put the details of their listing out there, and in doing so, make an offer to buyers agents for commission and cooperation. And when you're talking about Zillow and all those other websites, most of the data that they're showing you is data that they're pulling directly from the MLS. So yes, this day and age, you're not sitting on an exclusive book that you went to pick up every Tuesday. Instead, you're syndicating that out so that the bulk of the data is available to everybody. But within every listing, there are also some notes that are retained as messages between different brokerages. But also, having direct access to MLS means that you can set up a showing directly for yourself. There are a host of different ways that listing agents can make a property available for showings. But if you're an investor particularly and you want to be able to look at properties with minimal hassle, having access to MLS will allow you to go out and schedule your own showings with no intermediary. So that's a great feature that a lot of investors have out there. It's a very practical consideration. But reading ahead, that if that's your only reason for getting a real estate license, it's not worth it.
Mm-hmm. I seem to remember the place that we purchased out in Provincetown had some notes in it that were not on the listing that I was able to see. But, once you dug into MLS, there was a whole separate section of notes that was there. So, I get the value. I mean, like, a lot of the information is already available online, but there's definitely additional information available that you would need a MLS subscription to be able to access.
So that's just a very concrete reason why you should consider getting your license. Going back to some more vague concepts is just the idea that a real estate career, I think, can work well with any past experience. Again, you can leverage a variety of different past experiences to be successful in real estate, but you can also leverage other concurrent commitments, other jobs that you have going on at the same time. We did record the podcast earlier asking whether or not a part-time agent can be successful, I come down on the side that they can, in large part because certain other careers they don't detract from your real estate career. They can complement it. Other careers where you're building a network of people that know, like, and trust you, but where you're not creating some sort of ethical quandary, are excellent companions to a career in real estate.
Right. And this is just talking about part-time agents or people that want to transition away from that career. But, we mentioned education earlier. I could think about working in a restaurant, like if you are a host or hostess or bartender or server, you're meeting a lot of people. Part of what makes you successful in your job is being quick, being detailed, being courteous and polite, and meeting a lot of people. And I think that probably translates very well into a real estate career, doesn't it?
Yep. Imagination's limitless here. There are a lot of different ways. Any career field where you're building goodwill with people who know, like, and trust you and consider you a professional can work well with real estate.
Personal trainers, another good.
Absolutely. We may be announcing one of those very shortly, but that's
Okay.
that's an perfect example of an agent who can leverage other commitments that some might see as taking up and competing for time, but actually can leverage them to do well in real estate.
What are some other reasons why one might want to receive or earn their real estate license?
Once you have a real estate license, you can unlock other resources and trainings and educational opportunities that are out there. So if you're really interested in being up to date on the different trends in real estate, the market, different methods of growing your business, by becoming a licensed real estate agent, you can join a brokerage, and through that brokerage, get to know and be updated within the field. And also you can become a member of the local Realtor Association and unlock all those other proprietary trainings, meetings, and events where you can really educate yourself about the market and the industry.
Yeah, we're still in the thick of COVID. We're going on almost 2 full years of this. And I remember when everything started shutting down, everyone was convinced that markets are going to collapse, everyone's going to lose their jobs, everyone's going to get evicted. Just lots of bad things are going to happen. And it's not to say lots of bad things did not happen during this period, but one thing that surprised everybody was that a lot of real estate markets held strong and continued to increase because of it's supply and demand. People wanted to move around, they wanted more space, and there weren't enough properties available for that. So, I think there was a big change that was not expected once the shutdown started to hit. Real estate professionals are the ones that are staying on top of these trends. It's more than just reading an article in the Boston Globe or New York Times or Wall Street Journal. It's being connected to other real estate agents and people in the business to compare notes and to say, what are you seeing? Or to analyze data together. I think that it's a competitive field, but I have found that lots of people are all moving in the same direction because it's not a zero-sum game. Like, you don't have to win for me to lose. Both of us could be successful in this business. But real estate agents, kind of when you are a professional and when you get your license, there is that expectation. You have your license, right? You're supposed to know what you're talking about. Yep. When you go to a cocktail party, if you're looking for your friends to become, clients of yours, which is where a lot of real estate agents start in finding clients, they have to prove they know what they're talking about, and they're not just that guy that has been a drinking buddy for 5 years.
Yeah. So to bridge kind of the reasons for getting a real estate license into the reasons why you should reconsider, is the idea that getting a real estate license is not particularly difficult. It varies state to state, but if you can take the class and pass a test, you are well on your way to getting your real estate license. So that's a reason maybe to get the real estate license, is that it's not that difficult to get it. But once you have your real estate license, it becomes a lot more difficult to actually leverage that and become a true professional. There is that expectation from anybody who's going to work with you that you've done more than just study what's on the test. That's kind of the bare minimum, and that's not going to be updated. And if you look at the statistics, there are way more licensed real estate agents out there than there are listings. That tells me that most people are sitting on the sidelines and, not actually making a career out of it. The barrier to entry is awfully low, and that's a pro and a con.
Mm-hmm. So they're getting their license and basically not making transactions. They're not buying, they don't have clients that are buying things where they don't have listings, where they're selling properties. Because if there's more people that have licenses than listings, some people are super successful at this and they'll have 10 listings. Some will have 0, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a very meritocratic field. Once you have your license, you're not entitled automatically to earning commissions. You have to really to work for it. Sky's the limit, but so is the floor. And once you have your license and start working, you are now the professional that you once needed. So I see this with investor clients, investors. Think they look at a couple of practical reasons. They think it might be great to have access directly into MLS, but once they've acquired the license, well, now they're the professional that they once leaned on other people for. They're the ones that are out there that are meant to navigate the market, understand trends, and you've kind of cut yourself off from having that third party overlooking your shoulder and making sure everything's all right. Once you have your license and you're working it, you are the professional, and it's up to you to keep up with it. And there's a lot that goes behind it, aside from just what's minimally required for you to keep your license. To do well in the field, you have to make a commitment to learn and grow over time.
Yeah. You work with investors, and part of me is like, well, geez, investors want to save money, or they want to earn more money on top of their investment. And an easy way to save 2% or 2.5%, whatever the numbers are going to be that are offered up, is to get your license. The commission comes right back to you. But to your point, then you're eliminating the service that the agent could have provided. You don't have, another set of eyes and ears looking for the next deal or looking for a problem with the deal that you have. And sometimes it's worth not getting that commission to have that additional resource on your team.
Well, take that personality type in mind, the investor. If the investor's reasoning for getting the real estate license is that I'm going to save a certain percentage of every transaction, and that's why I want to get my real estate license, well, that's a red flag that is probably going to be a bad idea. You're throwing away the professional guidance in order to save money. A good response, and a reason why somebody who's an investor may very well should get a license, is if they approach it saying that I want to leverage my experience in real estate investing. I love real estate investing, and I want to leverage my knowledge and experience into a complementary skill set and another income stream for me. That when I hear that, this is the same type, it's the same set of experience, but that change of motivation it changes my advice on whether or not they should have a real estate license. Okay.
So a couple cons against getting your license if you're considering it. Are there any other ones that you could think of off the top of your head?
It's if we're going to get into like a really precise one that comes up, it can stand in your way of being a wholesaler. Some people who are listening to this podcast might understand what that is, but there's a real estate strategy where you can go out, buy a property or get a property under contract for assuming less than it's worth. And before you close on it, you turn around, you sell the contract to somebody else, and you end up netting the difference. It's a real estate strategy that works in different markets, but this isn't about wholesaling, but it's a non-fiduciary role. When you approach the seller who's looking to sell, you are their buyer. You're putting the property under contract. This is in many ways incompatible with working as a real estate agent where you're fiduciary looking out for their interests. So if you approach somebody and you confused your role, you don't even have to come up to them and say, well, I'm a real estate agent, I'm looking out for you, and then offer to buy the property for less than it's worth. That is a clear violation ethically. But if somebody knows that you're a real estate agent and in their mind, since they're not a professional within the space, think that you are looking out for them as a real estate agent, and then you turn around and buy the property and profit off of it that way, that is a good way to lose your license and to face charges and discipline for doing so. So, right. You can wholesale and have a real estate license, but it muddies the water. So if you're a wholesaler, you may want to think twice about doing so. And I have some thoughts of ways that you can make it work together. But if your heart's in wholesaling, you might be better served by just not having a license at all.
Okay. So we're talking about should you or should you not get your real estate license. If you've listened this far, it's probably because you like listening to the podcast, or you're actually legit considering getting your real estate license for whatever reason. If it's a career change, if it's a career add-on, if it's to try something new, if you're an investor, if you are just looking to get into the business. So Rory, what are some things to consider for people that are saying, you know what, this could be something I want to do? What should you consider if you're thinking about getting your real estate license?
So when a new licensee comes up to me and wants to join our office, there are several questions I ask, but kind of three important ones that are really meant to make them consider whether or not this is a good field for them are, I start with, can you articulate what your goals are in real estate? If they don't know why they want a real estate license, they don't know why they want to be a real estate agent, it's really difficult to understand what their career would look like. So, before you go out and get your real estate license, can you articulate what you want to accomplish and what you want to do in the real estate field? You may not have a ton of specificity. Your plans and your goals can change, but can you articulate what your plan is in real estate? And if you can't, maybe sit back and reflect before you go out and get your real estate license.
And I mean, does the goal need to be noble, or could it be as simple as like, I want to get into real estate because I think I can make a lot of money?
That's good, but what does that look like? You want to make a lot of money. Well, a better answer that shows a little bit more thought behind it would be, I'm hoping to leverage my experience to grow in a business that's my own, where there's unlimited income potential that's grounded in my commitment to sustaining my business. There's a little bit more meat there than just saying, I want to make money. You don't get your real estate license and then have money fall from the sky. That really is not how it works. Right. But your goals can also vary. I mean, you may say that you've had good experiences in real estate. You have experience in the affiliated field, contracting, investing, interior design, and you want to leverage that experience to help your inner circle out. And maybe you only want to sell 4 homes a year. That's not going to make you a full-time real estate agent, but you have an articulable goal that you can achieve that may justify getting the real estate license. You don't have to be full-time. You don't have to have an incredibly high monetary goal, but having something you can articulate as to why you're doing this is really the first step.
Mm-hmm. What are some other things to consider about why you might want your license?
Or to consider, like, when you're deciding whether to get your license. The other thing I'd ask is, will you be able to commit to consistently and sustainably building your real estate business? And by that, I mean, are you going to be able to have real estate be on your mind throughout the year? You never want to have, my guidance is you never want to have more than a week go by where you don't do something for your real estate business. And you don't want to have, more than about a quarter of the year go by without actually completing a contract. And if you're not willing to have it always be top of mind, you're going to fall behind and get in and start over. So, a bad profile might be a school teacher. School teachers can do real estate very well, but if their mindset is, well, I'm going to put away everything that's related to real estate in September, and then come June, I'm going to just reopen my real estate business and I'm just going to do it in the summertime. That doesn't work because it's a relationship building career that requires you to touch base and maintain the relationship. After 9 months of inactivity, people are going to forget that you're doing it. People are going to fall off. So you need to be able to touch base at the very least once a week in order to keep yourself relevant. And also, if you're not willing to consistently do the work and do the transactions, when it comes time to do it again, a lot of the training, the experience will have faded away, and you'll be constantly teaching yourself the basics every time you go to open up MLS.
Right. It's like going to the gym. If you go regularly, then you don't have to relearn those same exercises that you did 8 months ago because you've been doing them every single week since then, even if they're basic push-ups or planks or jumping jacks or something along that line, or curls. You brought up something about, like, hey, I'm going to flip a switch and go do real estate in the summertime. Knowing a lot about sales, sales requires lots of touch points also. We encourage salespeople, that it might take 9 times before you get a meeting, let alone a sale. So the people that stopped at the 8th time, whether it's a call or an email or a networking event, they're the ones that might not get that meeting, but you might have, because you got the 9th one and you added value to that 9th touch point that said, yeah, sure, I want to meet with you. If you are planning to do real estate, like during the off season of whatever your full-time job is, yeah, you're right. You got to touch base with people throughout the on season as well, whether you're just kind of connecting with them or, sending them a listing here or two, sending them an article, just checking in with them, grabbing a cup of coffee, because let's just say June 1st, you say, okay, I'm back in. Anything that you get under contract like that same day is probably not going to close for another couple months anyway. And then next thing you know, you're, back in your full-time job.
But you're not going to get anything under contract on that very first day. It's a long-term relationship business. Somebody who you make a connection with as a prospective client today, when you speak with them, they might be working through credit issues. They may not have decided what they want to do. It's a relationship that you may have to maintain for 18 months, or 9 months, or a longer period of time before they actually are ready and find the place and are able to look at properties and close. And they're not necessarily going to wait for your availability when that decision comes. So it's about being consistent. And sure, somebody has a high season and low season, can temper it by joining a team with somebody else, making arrangements for it. But even then, you can't abdicate your career path for that period of time. You have to, it has to be at the top of your mind. It has to be on your mind all the time.
One more thing that might be important to think through if you're considering a career in real estate is, are you trainable? Are you willing to learn? I'd imagine the people that you work with that come aboard that, have the most success are the ones that are willing to listen and willing to, learn what the new systems are, whatever they are.
The agents in our office who have had the highest level of success are clearly the ones that have been willing to learn, are willing to engage, willing to avail themselves of the resources that we have, so that what we taught them in 2021, we don't teach again in 2022. Instead, you're building, you're learning more advanced things in 2022, and from there you'll have more advanced things coming along in 23. Those are that. If you're willing to grow, then you're willing to build a business. So, what are your goals? Are you able to work consistently toward them? And are you willing to learn and grow? If you answer yes to all of those, then real estate may very well be a good career path for you or a good co-career path for you. But it's not easy. It's a challenge, but it can be very rewarding.
Here I said we weren't going to talk too long for a very quick episode, and we're almost 40 minutes in already. So why don't we we'll start to wrap it up and figure out what's the bottom line here, Rory?
The bottom line is, if you're interested in getting your real estate license, I encourage you to do it. I can have a conversation with you to see if it's something that that is a good fit for you, and I'll be pretty candid with it too. But think about the things that we went over in this episode, some of the reasons why you should get it, some of the reasons you might want to reconsider. But most importantly, ask yourself, what do you want to do in real estate? And are you willing to put in the work and the growth that it takes to build a business?
And then, we'll have to do another episode about the different kind of complexion of different offices, because there's a lot of different brokerages out there. And fit is very important when you're going to work somewhere. There are probably some people that are great real estate agents who are probably not the right fit for you at nexthome. And there are probably some people that, will just sign up with the first agency that they see, and then, they regret it because they see that whatever reason the fit is not there. If it's a inter-office, relationship issue, if it's a lack of learning, if it's a lack of support, whatever. So, we'll talk about that in another episode, because this is all about, should you get your license or not? But another good topic would be like, how do I know what kind of brokerage I should join? So why don't we stick a pin in that one?
Yep. So we'll likely hear that in a few months, but thank you everybody for listening to us today and hearing my thoughts about whether you should get a real estate license.
Yeah, I mean, very valuable. You are a broker here in Massachusetts. You've been doing this for quite some time. So, I think that you're very well versed to talk about this topic. So thank you for listening to the Real Estate Law Podcast. This is another great episode. And we strongly encourage you guys to subscribe to this if you're listening on iTunes or Google Play or Spotify. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much. You could drop a comment or give us a thumbs up or subscribe to the channel, because that will certainly help get this in front of more people. And that's how the YouTube algorithm really distributes our content even more. The more engagement we get, the more people get to see this, and we keep it all free. So thanks once again, Rory. We really appreciate your involvement here. How can people find you if they want to talk to you about a career in real estate, getting your license, or maybe even joining Nexthome Titletown Real Estate in Boston?
Take a look at our website. We're easy to find at nexthometitletown.com. And as always, you can check out my law practice at urbanvillagelegal.com.
And if for some reason you want to get a hold of me, I have an email address as well, jason@nexthometitletown.com, and I do check it. Let's call it an episode. Thank you, Rory. Thanks for all your time today.
All right. Thank you. And see everybody next time.
Yep. We'll see you next time. Bye.
This has been the Real Estate Law Podcast. Because real estate is more than just pretty pictures, and law goes well beyond the paperwork and courtroom arguments. We're powered by Nexthome Titletown, Greater Boston's progressive real estate brokerage. More at nexthometitletown.com. And Urban Village Legal, Massachusetts Real Estate Counsel, serving savvy property owners, lenders, and investors. More at urbanvillagelegal.com. Today's conversation was not legal advice, but we hope you found it entertaining and informative. Discover more at realestatelawpodcast.com. Thank you for listening.